Hello everyone, and welcome to the Unpossible. I will be your guide, Mr. Shrigus, and today we're going over a new Overwatch character. This is Gardus, the Vishkar construction worker tank. Gardus has 150 health and 350 shield health. Gardus has a theme revolving around him. He has invented a new element that can bypass or create hard-light technology. This is called Uniquinium, and he uses this for most of his kit. So, for his passive, we have the Uniquinium Radiation. In an 8-meter radius around him, all shield health regenerates 2 times the health. So, if you have a Symmetra or a Zarya, anyone who's healing themselves via shield health gets healed for twice as much health. This does not regenerate faster, so you still need to wait for the 3 seconds to come around, but it does regenerate more health once it starts. For his primary fire, we have the Uniquinium Cannon. Gardus shoots at a rapid-fire pace from this cannon. These projectiles move at 60 meters per second and do 10 damage each. If Gardus loses all of his shield health, for 5 seconds the Uniquinium Cannon's projectiles will get larger, move faster, pass through enemy barriers, and will have splash damage. After the 5 seconds is over, the charge then goes back on cooldown for 10 seconds. Basically, in his uncharged form, he's sort of like a mini Orisa.
Hello.
With just a little bit of spread, and unlike Orisa, these projectiles cannot headshot. However, once he has reached his charged status, the orbs then do 15 damage with a 7.5 damage splash damage. And these charge shots can now pass through enemy barriers, so once he reaches the charged state, it might not be all that worth it to hide behind your Orisa's barrier. For his secondary fire, we have 0-point hold. While this is held, Gardus summons his shields around him, making him immune to all damage, CC, and knockback, boop, and it allows him to fly. However, he slowly starts to burn through his shield health while this is active. Using this burns 50 shields per second for as long as it's held, and has a cooldown of 2 seconds. The idea behind this is that it's a combination between Orisa's Fortify and D.Va's Defense Matrix, so you can use it quite frequently. However, it comes at the great downside of burning through your health. The other thing to note is that you can't be healed while in this mode. You cannot be kept up by outside sources while this is happening. Otherwise, you'd be able to hold on to this for way too long. For his shift ability, we have the Uniquinium Charger. This creates a field in an 8-meter radius around you, and any barriers that are out...
Activating the barrier!
...gain 75 health per second. And any players with shield health will go ahead and activate their shield health regeneration. This one's also pretty self-explanatory, like with his passive. But this has the same radius as his passive, so anybody who would be starting their shield health regeneration will go ahead and start having the doubled shield health regeneration. Next we have the E ability, which is the Hard Light Bender. You can mark a spot up to 20 meters away to place a Hard Light Bender unit. If 2 of these are within 20 meters of each other, they will create a barrier between them, similar to the light bridges in Portal. The health of these barriers is proportional to how far apart the 2 hard light benders are. The further apart that they are, the healthier they stand. These barriers can also be placed on the ground and on upper ledges, so that you can make a ramp to higher and lower areas. You can hold up to
3 charges,
but they have a cooldown of 15 seconds each. So this is Gardus's barrier. It's a unique constructible, and you can have 3 of them on the field at a time. Gardus will have a unique mechanic where he won't be able to see the health of his barrier like normal tanks would, since you can have many of them, So instead, an icon will appear over the barrier to show how much health it will be. These barriers can have as little as 300 health, and at the maximum they can have 600 health. So if you're in a tiny little corridor and you put one on each wall, it would be 300. If you're going to put it on like the entirety of this point in Dorado, it would be 600 health. It's a little bit odd that it would be the larger it is, the more health it has, but it makes more sense if you think that it's more surface area to shoot at. I considered giving it a stable health of just 600, but the fact that you can have 3 of these units out, and the fact you could zigzag them to give them even more barriers in one spot, it would be almost impossible to break through. And then we have his ultimate, Recreation. Gardus starts a transformation. He gains 400 temporary shields, he refills and doubles his ammo clip, and his gun is permanently in a charged mode. When Gardus' shots pass through any kind of barrier, either allied or enemy, those shots' damage will be multiplied by 1.2 times. So, the idea of this is all of your barriers will multiply your damage, as well as enemy barriers. So what you could do, theoretically, is you could zigzag the hard light benders in an area, so then it could be like a sort of mini bat wall for you. And then you can shoot all of your shots through those barriers, and then, if the enemy has a barrier, it also multiplies it. There are several characters that I think would do well with Gardus, especially in the tank category, such as Zarya or Sigma. Not just because they have shield health, but because their abilities help Gardus to be able to do his. A few counters, I think, to Gardus would be Sombra, for one. Mei doesn't directly counter him, as he doesn't really care if Mei gets up close to him. He could just hide within his mini barriers and regen. But the fact that wall exists and is not a barrier, it's a physical wall, would be able to stop his ultimate or regular impact of his primary fire. The fact that he can't really headshot people, especially if they're up close to him, is a bit worrying, so characters like Genji or Tracer might be able to do a lot to him, and considering he only has 500 health, he's not all that tanky in reality. And, unfortunately, I made this character before the Overwatch 2 5v5 was announced, where we are now going down to 1 tank. So Gardus may not come to reality, which is a bit sad. I mean, he is kind of a main tank, but he was really designed in a way so that he would be supported by another tank, which is rather unfortunate. But thank you everybody for watching. Let me know what you think down below. And remember, the unpossibilities are endless. Goodbye.